Big news off the top. The event that I've created, you would have heard me mention it last broadcast. Now it is activated. I've made a video for it. I've made an event on Facebook for it. Is the World Free Hugs Day event. I'm hesitant to say it's the first official World Free Hugs Day. Instead, I'm just saying it's a World Free Hugs Day. But it very well may be kind of the world's first free hug day that is being implemented on some sort of actualized scale. I want to give it a quick shout out because I was running a hashtag search on it, and there's a group of people doing free hugs in Nepal. No, was it Nepal? Nepal, Italy? Is Nepal, Italy a place? Is that the same place? I believe so. But they were doing free hugs there, and I saw they were using the hashtag World Free Hugs, and I was like, yes, like somebody else has already tried this, so it's like perfect. So, World Free Hugs Day, activating this as an event taking place on my birthday. My birthday is July 18th. That's the day the event is. And again, you know, with my birthday being an actual thing, obviously, I want to be able to create something that will be something that we can share together in the celebration. And so part of the way how we're doing this is not only encouraging people to go out there and to do free hugs, but to also be able to document it if they feel comfortable in doing that, and to use the hashtag World Free Hugs when they're posting. You can also join the event join the event on Facebook, and you can post your images in there, and you can find that if you go to on paradigmshiftcentral.com, check under Central News, and you'll see the posting for World Free Hug Day, and then that has a link to the Facebook page. You can also go to my YouTube channel, and you can see the video that I posted there, which is basically just a call to action. And so again, the World Free Hugs Day, it's as simple as it sounds, but it's a great way to be able to just give that little bit of extra intention, that little bit of extra attention, to be able to help people move forward, knowing that they are not alone, knowing that they have the shared collective of a community. Because sometimes, you know, like when it comes to free hugs, and I've experienced this too, there's a bit of like, there's something you have to conquer inside of you when you're thinking about going out and doing free hugs. It's just kind of, you know, this like voice in your head that's just like, oh, like people will think I'm weird, or oh, you know, people will look at me funny, or maybe I won't get any hugs, or, you know, I shouldn't bother, it's pointless and stuff like that, or I'm scared. You know, that's a legitimate feeling too, because it's kind of putting yourself in this vulnerable space. But it's something that we can conquer. It's something that we can move through, step into, and to step into that choice of doing free hugs, and to notice and experience how the universe will respond to that act of courage. So doing free hugs literally is an act of courage. It is to be able to kind of go against the norm. So I want to be able to even just check in with people in the live chat, you know, just leave a comment if you're planning on like taking part in the World Free Hugs Day. And again, you know, like, the concept behind it is to be able to do free hugs, but then to continue to use it as a catalyst for days beyond that. That's pretty obvious. Like, obviously, we're not just going to do free hugs on one day and then stop. Like, Free Hugs Day, World Free Hugs Day, is technically on a Wednesday. So, I mean, you know, it makes a lot of sense to do free hugs oftentimes on Fridays or Saturdays, you know, when there's community events taking place, if there's festivals going on, if there's a farmer's market, you know, but doing it on Wednesday can still be totally possible, especially if you're in like a city. You can go down to your downtown core, see what happens if you just commit even like 15 minutes. Start off with just like 10 minutes of standing in one spot with a free hug sign and see what happens. And that's really all it takes. And the universe will kind of play things out beyond just like you making that choice, and the synchronicities will unfold, and you'll begin to notice people syncing up with you in that moment. So shout out to just gonna give a shout out to shout out to David, who is commenting in YouTube, who is saying that they are planning on participating in the Free Hugs Day, and it will be the first day that they do it. So David, thank you, huge shout out to you for being involved with that. Much love. And so again, you know, like with the free hugs, I'll just give you guys some tips and tricks, you know, some basic ways to do free hugs. Because believe me, there are different ways to do free hugs. And believe it or not, there are wrong ways to do free hugs. And so in terms of the rights and wrong ways, in terms of how you do free hugs, the best way that I can recommend it, not even the best way, one way that I can recommend it that works well for me is to stand in one location and let people come to you. So you find a good location. That can be a street corner that's a busy intersection. That can be like near the entrance of a park. It can be near the side of a road. Sometimes you can even do it so that you have a wall to your back. If you're feeling a little uncomfortable and you don't like being out in the open, do it so that you position yourself so that you can control your line of sight, so that you have a wall to your back and people are only coming at you from like 180-degree angle opposed to a 360-degree. And then if you stand there with the sign, feel out that position, move if you feel you want to, and then you let people come to you. Now, the big thing with free hugs is that it's all about consent. And so when I say there's a wrong way to do free hugs, the wrong way to do free hugs would be to like have a sign, someone walks past, they look at you and they're just like thinking about it, and then you like follow them and you're just like, hey man, like come on, like get a hug, like don't run away from me, man, like come on, you know you want it, man, and you like chase them or something like that can make them feel very uncomfortable, obviously. And again, it's not necessary. So, and I'm saying this because I've seen people do that. Usually it comes from, I mean, it can come from anyone, but I've seen like people where like I've done free hugs and then I'll give out other free hug signs, and sometimes I'll have to talk to people and just give them that little tip that I gave you to just say, you know, like let people come to you. It's cool, man. Like let people come to you, because you'll see some people, they get really excited about it and they bring in their own energy, and then they can kind of like sometimes be a little bit too much in your face for some people, and they walk by and they're just like, dude, like, you know, they'll like jump in front of them, and it's just like, no man, like, you know, just like let people come to you, just kind of hold that bubble, they will come to you. And even if they don't, you know, because even if they don't give you a free hug, they're still going to see you, and that's still going to leave an impression. It's still going to make a difference in that way. So again, it's all about consent. It's all about inviting people into that moment without having to project or force anything on them in that idea. So another way to do free hugs is, you know, walking around. And if anybody happens to be like in, I love the idea of kind of like doing free hugs in like a businessy area. So, I mean, again, you can literally walk down the street while doing free hugs. It's still an equally valid tactic as standing in one spot. Standing in one spot is just kind of like a good way to do it, but if you're walking down a street, that's another good way to do it. Be mindful of where you're doing it. If you're doing it on private property, they may have they may ask you to leave if it's something where they feel that it's like considered soliciting. So for example, on on like in a mall or on like a university campus, if you're not a student, sometimes the security has the right to be able to say like, you know, what you're doing is considered soliciting, therefore leave, regardless of whether or not it's free hugs. Like if you were just holding a sign that just said like anything and you were walking through a mall, that would still be considered soliciting. So don't take it too personally if they ask you to leave, but just be aware of where you're doing it. So you try to not necessarily always avoid those places, but just be mindful if you are in a place that may be considered soliciting. For example, like I've done free hugs on the university near where I live, Western Ontario, and I'm an alumni there for one thing, but when I do free hugs there, I have to be like ninja about it. And so what I do, because again, there's so many different ways to do free hugs and I want you guys to get creative with it. Another way that I do free hugs when I'm there is I literally sit down and do crystal wire wrapping, and I put the free hug sign on the ground. And so it's next to me. And then I have some like crystals laid out in front of me and some art laid out in front of me and some shift buttons laid out in front of me. And then people still see the sign, and then they'll walk up and be like, yo man, like free hugs. And I'll be like, yeah man. And then I stand up and I give them a hug. So that's another way to do it. So again, you can get creative. You can like sit down and do art while doing free hugs if that's one way you want to do it. You can even get creative again, you know, like on the weekend, I was doing a similar tactic where I was doing free tarot readings, free tarot card readings. So I had my free hug sign, and on the back, I had it just written free tarot card reading. So again, you can kind of like, you can combine it, you can get creative with it, you can kind of bring your own flair into doing free hugs. The idea behind doing free hugs is, again, to be able to inject that code into the matrix, to be able to allow people to see something that they don't normally see, to be able to create those moments of meaningful connection is really like the big part about it. You know, when you have someone who comes up to you and they give you a hug, that may be so important to them. That may be incredibly like meaningful. Some people, the majority of people, they don't get the physical contact in a regular basis, and if they're like disconnected from family or they don't have a lot of friends, and human physical contact is such an important thing. It really is like this incredible valuable medicine. And so we want to be able to, again, create the opportunity where people can receive that, and you are putting yourself in this vulnerable position, but at the same time there's strength in that, and it's acknowledging that, and it's acknowledging the fact that, like, yeah, you're putting forth yourself with an element of trust, and you're not only inviting people to trust you, but you're asking people to trust you as well, and you're trusting them as well. So like sometimes, yeah, like free hugs can get like a little bit like, has a variety of emotions that it can bring up. But if you feel yourself in a place where, just like you're acknowledging that you're vulnerable, you can own that. You can own that vulnerability, and that actually becomes your superpower. That actually becomes your strength, because you're just like, yeah, like I'm standing here, I'm inviting people into my personal space, but I'm doing it through my own choice. I'm doing it through my own empowerment. There is no accidents here. And then other people see that, and then other people have the opportunity to be able to meet you halfway. And so again, like free hugs for kids is a very powerful thing too. And it's funny when the kids do it, because they usually get it. Like they usually get it pretty fast, and they're just like, yo, like this makes sense. And so doing free hugs with kids is a very exciting way, because you'll see their energy that they bring into it. And people really love that when they see little kids doing free hugs, and somehow it makes more sense. If someone's walking by and they'll see like a grown adult doing free hugs, they might raise an eyebrow. If they see a young kid with a sign, they'll be like, oh my God, that's the most adorable thing in the world, right? So again, having done free hugs for X number of years, there's a lot of different like, skills that I've kind of acquired from it. And another thing that you can do is to be able to bring extra free hug signs. So you can literally create like a love explosion. A love bomb is not really the term I would use first and foremost, but you create a love ripple effect where you literally bring extra signs. And again, if you haven't seen my videos on YouTube, check them out, because like I show you me doing this. I've done this plenty of times. But to show how it's possible, you can start off with one person, and then as people come up, you can start giving them signs. You might talk to them for a little bit, and then you can invite them to stand in one spot with you, or maybe they'll wander away on their own. So, for example, on the weekend, I was doing free hugs at a place called Sunfest, which is like this annual festival that happens here in London, Ontario, Canada. It's like a music and arts festival. It's inside the park, lots of vendors. And I was doing free hugs as Mystic Spider-Man. And so like using the Mystic Spider-Man persona, just like kind of getting out there. A lot of people just like, oh my God, Spider-Man. I'm like, hey guys, like remember the true power is the power of the heart. That's literally what I tell them, right? And then giving out other free hug signs to people who were genuinely interested. And then like they would take them. And so there's a little bit of footage of that on my Instagram, I think. Yeah, if you guys aren't on my Instagram, be sure to go to my Instagram, because there's stuff that's exclusive just to there, and that's at instagram.com/Mystic Spider-Man. So again, like doing free hugs, you can start by yourself. And again, why am I telling all this? I'm giving you some information to help give you some foresight as to like how to, take those steps necessary to do free hugs on Free Hugs Day and beyond. So you can do free hugs by yourself. You can do free hugs with a team. So you can start off like just literally go downtown by yourself and see what happens. Or you can plan it with friends and say like, hey, let's walk around downtown together, and you can see what happens. Whatever choice you make, the universe is going to be able to use that to be able to bring people to you. So it's kind of like this idea that through doing free hugs, you're literally experiencing and enacting the awareness of synchronicity. So when you set out that intention, when you set out that vibration, certain people are going to run into you at the right place at the right time. And that in itself is the magic. And then again, you use the free hugs to be able to create conversation if it's relative in the moment. Because some people may ask you, why are you doing this? And you can say, it's to be able to help make a difference in the world, to be able to help spread compassion. You can also take it apart, a step further. You can also say, like, oh, this is a part of a bigger project me and some friends are doing called Paradigm Shift Central.com. You can tell them about it. And of course, if you have the buttons on you, if you have the shift buttons on you, then you can even use the shift buttons to what I explain as upgrading your hugs to Hugs 2.0. So when you do a free hug, that's awesome. That's great. Like that in itself is beautiful. When you do free hugs with shift buttons, as many of you have heard me talk about before, you can give someone a shift button. You can literally say like, here, you pass the test or something along those lines, or just even say to them, here, would you guys like to take a magic button with you on your journey. That's like a great way of saying it too. And then people light up. There's like, oh my God, like, yes, this is awesome. I would love to take a button with me. And then you can say to them, there's a website on the button. It's part of a bigger project. Please feel free to check it out. So again, you may not have buttons with you for Free Hugs Day coming up, but by signing up to the team Patreon, you can get your Shift Booster Kit. You can get your free hug signs laminated. You can get your shift buttons, and then again, keep those on you. Those become incredibly valuable tools. So doing it with the shift buttons is just the technique that I've developed over the years that really helps accelerate the effectiveness of doing free hugs. Free hugs are awesome. Doing them with shift buttons is like extra potent, and it just accelerates the way in which people can connect, and it accelerates the impressions that are made. It leaves a more lasting impression. You know, like someone will go home and be like, yeah, that's awesome, I got a hug today from the stranger, but they can also go home and say, yeah, I got a hug today from a stranger and I got a button. Maybe I should check out the website. They go to the website, log in, boom. They're tuned into this broadcast. They're tuned into next week. They get involved with the project, and they continue to ripple that inspiration with them further. Another aspect of free hugs, again, you know, just going over the basics, and then we'll move on to just like some other basic news, and then we'll get into our meditation. Is using free hugs as a catalyst to create a physical paradigm shift community where you are. So in combination with the shift buttons or not, you can even create little pamphlets or create, you know, just verbal instructions to be able to invite people to your local paradigm shift community. So again, you know, these are tactics. These are things that you guys can do. They're simple. They're effective. Use them. Take action with them. They are tools. They are formulas to be able to help accelerate the shift where you are. And so when someone comes up and hugs you, you can say, you know, might have a little bit of conversation and then gauge it, feel it out. And if it makes sense to you in the moment, you can be like, hey, if you're interested, once a week, we have these meetup groups called Paradigm Shift such and such. For me, it would be Paradigm Shift London. So for other people, it would be Paradigm Shift your location. And then through there, you know, you just invite them to be able to come out to the local Paradigm Shift meetup group that you have. It creates another opportunity for them to connect with the opportunity of being with community. And so you can even direct them to the local Facebook page that you have. So again, you can say like, you know, like look up Paradigm Shift Chicago on Facebook, look up Paradigm Shift Texas on Facebook, look up Paradigm Shift, you know, just like Nebraska on Facebook. There's no Paradigm Shift Nebraska that I know of. Not yet. Maybe you're starting it. So, and again, you know, we want people to create those physical paradigm shift communities where they are. So, yeah, if you guys do have any questions about the free hugs, please feel free to let me know. But other than that, that's really the basics of it. And so again, as you do free hugs on Free Hugs Day and beyond, use the hashtag World Free Hugs Day, either posting it on Facebook or Instagram. Make sure your post is public so that I can see it. And then I'll be able to incorporate that into like a little montage video that we'll be creating about the Free Hugs Day event. So go to the event. I'm going to post the, pull it up as I do this. I'm going to pull up the event on Facebook to be able to give you guys the link so that you can invite others to join. And that's a great way to do that. I just got to scroll down a bit as I do this. Go Facebook, go. But nonetheless, please feel free to leave some comments if you guys are taking part in free hugs. Let me know where you're taking part in them. Again, you know, share this video. Let other people know that this is happening. And this will just be, you know, one of many more synchronized events that we'll be able to do in the future as well. I want to be able to get you guys doing like some like synchronized like public meditation events would be something I want to do as well. All right, so did I post that? Is the Facebook chat working? Did that work? Oh, people are just like asking questions about other stuff in the chat. Cool. All right. So yeah, okay, so that's basically it for the Free Hugs Day. So again, July 18th, my birthday, give me the best present ever by going out there and spreading the love, by going out there and doing free hugs. And there's a template for the sign that you can find through the YouTube. I'll pass. Let me just see here if I can edit this. I'll post a link afterwards. But again, go into the YouTube video and you'll be able to see the link for the free hug sign that you can download as well. And again, you know, you can do that, or you can just make your own free hug sign. Super easy in that sense. So here, I'll post the link to that into the Facebook chat so that you guys can have it.